So if you've been living underneath a rock for the past month, then you possibly might not know that the Green Bay Packers decided to draft a quarterback with their first round pick in the NFL draft this past year. And if you happen to be living underneath said rock, well, I'd like to thank you for practicing proper social distancing guidelines. In a 40-minute conference call the other day, Aaron Rodgers gave a huge statement about the state of how things are going in Green Bay, his perception of the franchise, and how he feels about the franchise drafting Jordan Love with their first round pick. But he also dropped a bombshell that may trouble some Green Bay Packers fans. So before we get to the content, guys, if you are new to the channel, you enjoy the NFL, you enjoy football, we're about 1,600 subscribers away from hitting 50,000 subscribers. So take a moment to drop a like, subscribe, and turn notifications on if you enjoy football. On top of that, guys, my Twitch streams are getting pretty insane. We got Ezekiel Elliott to follow us recently. I'm going to leave a link to my stream in the description down below. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Your boy Microphone back again with some brand new NFL content. And guys, there's been no shortage of drama this NFL offseason. We have a plethora of brand new roster transactions and brand new moves, from Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Bill Belichick electing to roll with Jarrett Stidham and leave Cam Newton in free agency. Can we talk about how Cam Newton is still a free agent? Maybe in a different video. Because what we're here to discuss today is the fact that Aaron Rodgers went into a conference call, a 40-minute conference call, might I add, and he just dropped bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. And I guess we should start with a little bit of context to everything he says, because I think the first thing we should lead off with is Aaron Rodgers' relationship with Brett Favre got brought up in the phone call. And I guess the reason why his relationship with Brett Favre got brought up is, for those of you guys that don't know, the Green Bay Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre was 34 or 35 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And this kind of rubbed Brett Favre the wrong way, because he was clearly close to the end of his career in Green Bay, but he still wanted to play a little bit more. So he eventually would retire, and then he would change his mind. The Green Bay Packers would tell him, listen, you retired. We're moving forward with Aaron Rodgers at this point. He's been sitting behind you for some time. And then Brett Favre would go to the New York Jets and eventually the Minnesota Vikings. As a result of this, there was some awkward moments between Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, including this weird handshake at the NFL Honors Awards back in 2013. And Aaron Rodgers went out to start by saying that him and Brett Favre are in significantly better terms ever since the 2013 NFL Honors Awards. He actually went as far as to say that it's been a lot of fun to have him back in my life, which is very interesting. There wasn't really a public announcement or a statement, or we did not have any idea that these two Green Bay Packers legends were on good terms, which is interesting because originally we thought that they disliked each other. Now, the reason why I felt like we should lead off with that is because now Aaron Rodgers is in a very similar situation, and I'm sure he didn't really like the way Brett Favre treated him when he was coming into the league, and it appears as if he is going to take a little bit of a different approach with Jordan Love. Of course, you could understand that Aaron Rodgers isn't absolutely ecstatic to have Jordan Love on the Green Bay Packers roster. I'm sure if it was up to him, it would have been nice to have the Green Bay Packers draft their first skill position player in the first round since having Aaron Rodgers on the team. But of course, they elected to draft a quarterback in the first round, and this is how Aaron Rodgers felt about that. He said that he didn't ask to get drafted by the Green Bay Packers, so he's not to blame at all. I had a good conversation with him the day after the draft, and I'm excited to work with him. Aaron Rodgers' relationship with Jordan Love should be very interesting moving forward, because on one hand, it's not really the norm for the starting quarterback to teach his eventual successor almost everything that he knows, but at the same time, you do want to serve as a mentor to a young player coming into the league, especially if you are entering what you want to say is Aaron Rodgers' twilight years. Now, it's been documented that Aaron Rodgers wants to follow in the footsteps of another legendary football player that wears the number 12 on his jersey as well, in Tom Brady, and also continue his career into his 40s. But of course, whenever a player typically says that, especially a quarterback, the franchise doesn't really take it so greatly, especially if you look in terms of how things went down between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I'm assuming that after a while, after spending some time with each other, they got sick of one another. Bill Belichick felt like Brady may have not had as much left in the tank, or they just needed to eventually go their separate ways because, man, working with someone for 20 years could definitely get underneath your skin. But that's a different video for a different day. When Aaron Rodgers was asked what he thought about the Jordan Love pick, he said that he was initially surprised, but he understood that the organization was thinking about the present and the future. Now, here's the thing. Ever since the pick, there's been a lot of different statements about who decided who should pick Jordan Love. Some pundits believe that this was a power move by the Green Bay Packers to give them leverage in the event that Aaron Rodgers begins to behave passive-aggressively or erratically. If you ask Matt LaFleur, he says that it was the general manager's idea. If you ask the GM, he makes it seem like it wasn't really his idea. Matt LaFleur wants a quarterback that could scramble a little bit more and wants to run an offense that places a significantly greater emphasis on the running game, which isn't necessarily what Aaron Rodgers' strong suit is. But it appears as if now that Aaron Rodgers has had some time to reflect upon it, he is okay with it and he's ready to move forward. Now, this is the part that completely shook me up, and this is the part that might shake up some Green Bay Packers fans, as when Aaron Rodgers was asked about the pick, at first he said he wasn't really thrilled about it, like I mentioned, but he understood. But when he was given an opportunity to elaborate on it, what he said was a little bit more troubling. He said, "I think it was more the surprise of the pick, based on my feelings of wanting to play into my 40s. And really the realization that it does change the controllables a little bit. Because as much as I feel confident in my abilities and what I can accomplish and what we can accomplish, there are some new factors that are out of my control. And so my sincere desire to start and finish with the same organization, just as it has with many other players over the years, may not be a reality at this point. And as much as I understand the organization's future outlook and wanting to make sure they're thinking about the team now and down the line, and I respect that, at the same time, I still believe in myself and have a strong desire to play into my 40s. And I'm just not sure how all that works together at this point." Now, if you think that's scary, get a load of this. Aaron Rodgers technically is under contract for 4 more seasons, and he's signed a $134 million contract extension in the summer of 2018. And even on Friday, he reiterated his desire to finish his NFL career with the Green Bay Packers. But the Green Bay Packers also drafted a quarterback with their first-round pick. And if they were to move on from Aaron Rodgers after the 2020 season, they would save $4.76 million on the cap, but they would have to take $31.556 million in dead money. Aaron Rodgers has a cap number of $36.3 million in 2021 and $39.9 million in 2022, and after the 2021 season, the Packers would save $22.648 million in salary cap space by making such a move, but would have to count $17.204 million in dead money. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is, here's the number one thing you're supposed to do whenever you draft a first-round quarterback. And I understand that the Packers found Aaron Rodgers by having him sit behind their Hall of Fame quarterback, Brett Favre, for a couple of years, and then eventually moving on from Brett Favre for Aaron Rodgers. And it's really funny if you think about it. There's multiple teams that are trying to find their next quarterback, their next franchise quarterback, the same way that they tried to find their first quarterback. For example, if you look at the New Orleans Saints, they're taking a chance on a turnover-prone quarterback in Jameis Winston and hoping that he eventually realizes his potential and is able to lead the New Orleans Saints to Super Bowls down the line. although not this year. If you look at the New England Patriots, they're literally waiting for another quarterback to appear from thin air, just how Tom Brady did, another late round QB to come in and save them. And the Green Bay Packers drafted another quarterback in the late first round, and they're trying to have him sit behind their current Hall of Fame QB. But the fact of the matter is, if you draft a quarterback and he is a rookie quarterback, you want to use all of the extra cap space you save from having your starting QB on a rookie scale contract to put the best team around him possible, invest big in every other position so you could potentially make a Super Bowl run now that your franchise QB is on a rookie contract. And every year Jordan Love just sits behind Aaron Rodgers is a year wasted where the Green Bay Packers could be making good on this. So if you ask me, there's a great possibility that this season in Green Bay could possibly be Aaron Rodgers' last, which I'm okay with, so long as Bill Belichick doesn't somehow swing some sort of cheap trade to get Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots. Like, that's the last thing we need. I really hope this doesn't happen. Let me know what you guys think about Aaron Rodgers' statements. Do you perceive his statements the same way I perceive them? Do you think he's eventually going to move on from the Packers after this season? How do you feel about the Packers drafting Jordan Love at this point? Do you think it was unnecessary? Do you think they should have invested in Aaron Rodgers as much as possible? Personally, I feel like once you get a Hall of Fame quarterback on your roster, you shouldn't take it for granted, and you should do whatever it takes to win Super Bowls with him, not so much look towards the future. But hey, you saw what happened to the 1998 Chicago Bulls. Sometimes you just want to move on from the present for a brand new future. So I guess we got to respect that. I'm your boy Mikerophone. I'll catch you guys in our next upload.